All right, guys, I'm going to get started, get this thing going. I want to respect your time. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's here, the administrators that showed up, the head coaches, obviously, the programs that are going to be playing, the local media that makes this thing go and really promotes our schools and our players. Appreciate y'all being here. And then also Scott McFalls, owner here at Wings Etc., does a really good job of supporting high school athletics. A really good job of supporting Bowling Springs High School and our athletic departments across the board. So wanted to make sure that we mentioned him as well. This is the first press conference we've been able to have for our Jamboree. I hope we do this every single year. Really excited about the group that we have here, the teams that we have here coming back. A lot of them coming back third time, and we've got some new guys on board this year. Just really thankful and blessed to be in the job I'm in and to be able to do this. Right now I'm going to call up the men that are going to basically run this for us tonight or this evening, and that is the guys that do the Upstate Prep broadcast for Bowling Springs and Chesnee High School. That's Todd Waddell, Tom Dixon, and they're going to do a great job of kind of handling this for us and running the rest of the show. So appreciate you guys being here again. Make sure you take advantage of that food and those drinks, and we'll hopefully talk a lot of high school football. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Again, my name is Todd Waddell. I'm with Bowling Springs Upstate Prepcast. We cover all the Bowling Springs sports. We also have Ken Walter here, who's with Chesnee Upstate Prepcast. Again, we just want to thank Scott McFalls, Wings Etc. for sponsoring the event, supplying the room and the food for us all. The District 2 Jamboree is a collaborative effort between Bowling Springs High School and Chesnee High School. It'll consist of 2 nights. The first night is Wednesday, August the 12th. Chesnee High School will be hosting this event. And that event will be, game 1 will be the Dorman JV versus the Woodmont JV at 6 p.m. Game 2 is going to be the Chesnee JV against Bowling Springs 9th grade. That game will be at 7 o'clock. And the third game is Bowling Springs JV versus Mann JV. That is the night 1 of the D2 Jamboree. Night 2 of the D2 Jamboree will be on Friday, August the 14th. Game 1 of that Jamboree will be Chesnee versus Southside. Game 2 of that Jamboree will be Dorman versus Woodmont. And the third game that night will be Bowling Springs versus JV. So we look forward to having everybody out to both District 2 schools, again, sponsored by Bowling Springs and Chesnee this year. What we're going to do now is call each coach up one at a time. They're going to talk a little bit about their team. Once they get through with their spiel, we'll open it up to questions. Anybody have questions for each individual coach, and we'll do that one at a time. So the first game on the agenda for August the 14th is Chesnee versus Southside. So we're going to hear first from Chesnee head coach Brett Chappell.
Hey guys, my name is Brett Chappell, the head coach at Chesnee High School. Certainly excited about being here. Coach Reel has been really great to work with this event that we've put on here in District 2 the last couple of years. Just thankful for us to be a part of it. Chesnee High School has certainly had a lot of pride in what we like to do, and I think this just gives us an opportunity to showcase our kids and our program. We've changed teams that we've played a little bit, through the past couple of years, but excited about the opportunity to play Southside this year and get a chance to match up against those guys. The JV will get a chance to go against Bowling Springs 9th grade team on the Wednesday night, and we get to host there at Chesnee High School, so we get to showcase our facilities a little bit as well, and just excited about getting the football season started in 2026. Got some really good young kids that have moved along through the program in the last couple of years that we're excited about getting on the field and letting them showcase their talents a little bit, and just get a chance to get out there and be with the community and enjoy a fall season. I'll leave that up to you guys if you got any questions that you want to ask me now, or I can pass it on to Coach Millis from Southside. one of the things that we do is a little bit different from most programs, and as a staff, we coach the JVs and varsity together. So we have an offensive staff and a defensive staff. We don't necessarily have a JV staff separate from the varsity. Our numbers allow us to do that, number one. And number two, the one thing that we have seen through the years, and I've been doing this since 2005 with our setup like that, is our JVs seem to come along a lot quicker. We've got a chance to familiarize them with the coaches and the system and the way that we like to do things. It also gives us the opportunity, if we need to move somebody up because of an injury or things like that, we understand those kids and what they can do and their capabilities a little bit quicker than if you've got a separate staff. The things that we run into, issues that we may run into, is trying to get to a Thursday night game and have a Thursday practice with your varsity. So sometimes we run into that, and sometimes we have to practice earlier in the mornings on Thursdays just to make sure we get it in, so we can travel, the way that we need to on Thursday night with the JVs. But through the years, we've seen a lot of success. My first year when I got here, our JVs went 6-2. Last year, our JVs went 7-1. That's something that hadn't been done at Chesnee in a long time. So we're hoping to continue to build on that as it moves along to our varsity program. Again, that's just one thing that we do a little bit different, but the numbers allow us to do that too. We don't have that freshman team or that next level team beside your JVs. So, we got a staff of 10 coaches. We're able to split it up 5 and 5. And, like I said, it gives us the opportunity to coach those young guys as well as the older guys as well. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was Coach Chappell with the Chesnee Eagles. Next, we'll call up his opponent in the D2 Jamboree. Is going to be Coach A.J. Millis with Southside Tigers.
How y'all doing? First off, I want to say happy birthday to the real MVP. My little boy turned 6 today, and he wanted to come. I told him I'd get a chance to come. Secondly, thanks to Bowling Springs and Chesnee for both having us. When I saw the opportunity to join this Jamboree, I was excited because my first my first coaching job was in Cherokee County at Blacksburg. So go way back with Chesnee, we used to have some knockout dragouts with them. So I was excited when we had the opportunity to play them in this Jamboree, because they're a very physical team that's going to come out there and give us everything we want from whistle to whistle. They're going to do things the right way. Got a lot of respect for their program. So very excited about that. This is year 2 at Southside, coming into a program trying to change the whole entire culture, trying to get these kids right, doing right. We got a very young team coming back this year. Haven't had the success we wanted, but it's coming. We're going to be a lot better this year. We're going to surprise a lot of teams we face against this year. Very excited about that. Our guys have been working hard. We got a great coaching staff full of a bunch of young coaches. Got some former Southside greats coming back to help coach this year, which has been a big, big help this summer. Coach Calhoun, Southside legend, Duke legend. Very excited to have him out there. Got a new offensive coordinator, Coach Figueroa. He comes from California. Not a lot of people know about him because he comes from California, and he's the hardest working coach on my staff. He's going to get our offense right. And year 2 of Coach Pep coming back, a defensive coordinator, Daniel graduate, played college ball at Brevard. Very excited about him. He's great with the kids, brings the intensity, just a great coach. Our players have responded really well this summer. Last year was about setting the standards and setting them high. This year is making sure they meet those standards and raise those standards every single day. So our motto this year is be the standard. We want to be the standard for everybody in that school. When they see us, they got to see that we're a Southside Tiger football player, and that's how you're supposed to act as a young man. Super excited about that. Thanks again to Chesnee and Bowling Springs for having us out here, and we'll open the floor for any questions.
Hey, Coach. Ken Walter from Upstate Prepcast. Did you tell us what region you were in this year?
We're in that region with Seneca, Daniel, Walhalla, us, Pickens, and Berea.
How does that shape up with the new realignment? You look a little better than last year? Just as tough? What are we looking at?
It's hard to say. Last year, going against Westside when they had that hot streak, making a run for state, so it's a little different. Right now, I can't even focus on the region. We got to focus on ourselves in the mirror and get better every single day. The region's too far away to focus. We got to get our guys right for week 1 and our Jamborees. Week 1 against Dixie is what I'm looking at.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you, Coach Millis. We'll move to the second game of the varsity Jamboree, and which is going to be game one of the JV Jamboree. And the JV Jamboree will be the Dorman JV versus Woodmont, and on Friday night it will be Dorman Cavaliers versus the Woodmont Wildcats. We'll hear from offensive coordinator from Dorman, Mr. Jason Farmer.
Thank y'all very much. I'm glad he clarified that I'm not the head coach. I gave up that title about 3 years ago, thankfully. But real excited about that the season we have coming up with at Dorman. Excited by this event. We were in it last year. Always excited about getting to work at with some guys. Coach Real does a fantastic job. We come up to 7-on-7. I have a lot of respect for what he does at Bowling Springs, and I always like to be a part of events he does. So real excited about this football team. We return about 6 on offense, 5 on defense from a team that lost an upper state championship to Dutch Fort last year. I think we surprised a lot of people, quite honestly. I think we taught our kids a lot about being humble and hungry. And last year they were hungry. They had Coach Morris took over 3 years ago, won 3 games. Second year was 6, and they were really hungry to win, and the kids were super coachable. It was my first year coming in and got to know them. And the biggest thing about our kids, they love each other and they're coachable. And we got a great staff that goes to work every day and found a way to win some big ball games. And really, I only my first year at Dorman, but out of 35 years, 23 of them has been in Spartanburg County. So I know what Dorman football means to this area, and I know what this area football means to this area. This is a big area for really good football. And at my age, I'm excited about being back in the area and just really being able to play in big football games. And it starts at the Jamboree at Bowling Springs against a really good Woodmont team. Coach Boyd also played at Dorman, coached at Dorman, so we know him and a lot of staff. And 12 years ago, I was a head coach at Woodmont, so it just is full circle for me. And I know his principal, so if he doesn't behave at that Jamboree, I'm gonna call her. So anyway, but we're really excited about the opportunity. I'll just open up with any questions you may have.
Coach, this is Mike Martinez with Bowling Springs Prepcast, Chesnee Prepcast. Got to meet you earlier. Good luck this season. I know there was some region realignment, and you guys play Fort Mill, Rock Hill, Northwestern. What type of things go into planning to play schools that are a little bit more farther, and you're not used to playing every year? Schedule stuff as always, but what goes into maybe game planning a little bit for playing schools from that area?
Well, I'll say this: Rock Hill, Fort Mill, Northwestern is a lot closer trip than Sumter, where we're going week 5. So, our region is what it is. It's a really good football region. It prepares us for the playoffs, and Bowling Springs and Spartanburg is in that region as well. And we've got a really tough non-region. So, I don't think we do anything different. We prepare for every opponent every week to go win the football game. And as far as your first question to Coach Chappell's about JV, we also coach the JV at Dorman. And I think that is very important for your varsity coaches. And me being a head coach, I was a head coach for 11 years, and our staff coached JV as well. That's super important for you to coach your younger kids because, the quarterback we've got this year at Dorman was the JV quarterback the last 2 years, but I got to know him because I coached him on the JV. I was at every JV game. So he's ready for that. And I know he's ready for that because of, we coached him through those processes. But, the trip over there to Rock Hill, we're excited about. Obviously, Northwestern's won the state championship the last 2 years. And Paige does a great job over there. But, right now we're looking forward to a great preseason. We start July 30th, and then that first Thursday we go down to scrimmage Dutch Fort. So we really want to play good football teams because that region that we're in, we must prepare for that. And before we look at Northwestern, Rock Hill, and Fort Mill in our region, we got Hillcrest week 1, and that's what we're focusing on right now. We're good? Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Farmer. Both games, JV and varsity, Dorman will be taking on the Woodmont Wildcats. So we'll hear from Woodmont head coach Malcolm Boyd.
Thank you to District 2 and Bowling Springs and Chesnee for hosting this event. I've been a part of this Jamboree before in the past at Dorman, so I'm glad to be back and have an opportunity to compete. With that being said, for the 2026 season, I'm very excited about our kids and how far we've came in such a short amount of time. We've been really battle-tested over this summer, playing the Dormans, the Northwesterns. We went down to Georgia's UGA 7-on-7 playing against Grayson and places like that. And I've been very pleased with how we've not backed down from the name on the jersey of the competition, where this time last year, we got a little bit in our heads a little bit. We've worked really hard in the weight room. We've changed our numbers. We've gotten stronger, gotten faster. Our confidence is getting there. The crazy thing is we're still very, very young on paper. This time last year, we played over 20 freshmen and sophomores, and all those guys are coming back. And in today's world of high school athletics, as you already know, that's very rare to have that many kids as your core return to your team. So I'm excited. Our kids are very hungry. Very excited about the opportunity that presents itself. As you already know, it's a very interesting matchup for me being born and raised in District 6. But I'm excited for our kids to put on and have an opportunity to play in front of people. To that next level for the JV, thank you for doing that for the JV guys, because a JV Jamboree is very, very rare. And those kids work just as hard as the varsity kids need an opportunity to be able to showcase their skills and get better as well. With that being said, is there any questions? Very short and sweet.
Yeah, Coach, like everybody else, talk about your region, what realignment looks like for Woodmont. And a second question, you talked about the number of returners you got coming back. Do you have any standout players, maybe next-level players and everything that we could look forward to seeing from Woodmont?
For sure. So our region is us, Burns, Hillcrest, Malden, Eastside, and J.L. Mann. So we have our same Greenville County schools adding Eastside, and then, of course, Burns is in our region. Our region's, I would say, one of the tougher ones out there. But, you know, our preseason schedule and the things we've done are in place, have been set to get us ready for that region, especially, obviously, everybody knows that Burns is coming in our region. That's going to be the biggest name, the biggest talk. But to prepare our kids, we're scrimmaging the Daniels, the Yorks, the Dormans, to be able to prepare and be ready for that, as well as traveling to Blythewood in the middle of the season to kind of get a playoff feel, because unfortunately we did not make the playoffs last year. But unless you take that travel and take that time, you're not going to know what it feels like. And I don't want to do that round one of the playoffs. As for standout players, I mean, I would say we have some of the best skill core guys in the state. I'll put our guys up against probably anybody. We have Frank Lewis, who's an all-region returning player, wideout. We have Kobe Robinson in the slot. We have two stable running backs with Devontae Taylor and Amari Harris. We have Jaden Networks, who's a senior. He's actually the only senior right now out there as a wideout. Our tight end is a senior, but our two tight ends are seniors. But as for a wideout core, he's the only senior that we have really out there right now. So we're very excited about where we're going. Obviously, we graduated 6 offensive linemen, 6 seniors. So, but the guys that we have are very, very athletic and more type of, you know, are able to do some things that's a little different to make us look different this year that we probably haven't seen before in the past.
I think my question really concerns all the coaches. What's the thoughts about, you know, you hear the college rules kind of trickling down to the high school level, and you hear NIL might be coming to the high school, and you know, we've been dealing with transfer rules and everything. I think there's a new transfer rule in place this year where it's limited to like a one-time transfer. Just kind of like to hear the thoughts about the new rules, you know, regarding transfer and maybe any other new rules that might be implemented for the year.
In all honesty, my answer is kind of it is what it is. It's part of the times, and if you're not able to adapt with it, because there's nothing that you can control, right? You can only control your program and who's in your program. So I know for us at Woodmont, I worry about the kids that are there, the kids that show up every single day. That's what I worry about. If there's a rumor that somebody's coming in, it means nothing to me until they're actually on campus. If somebody's leaving, I don't chase. Because you don't know anybody's situation. They could be leaving for X, Y, Z reason. It ain't my place to try to sway them one way or another, because at the end of the day, they're children, and it's probably more times coming from the parent for whatever situation. So for me and my standpoint, my answer is, it is what it is. We'll deal with what we got to do when the time is to deal with it.
Is what it is. Thank you, Coach Boyd. Last game in both JV and varsity is going to be J.L. Mann Patriots against the Bowling Springs Bulldogs, and we'll start with J.L. Mann head coach Bryce Smiley.
Good afternoon. Glad to be here. Thanks to Coach Real and Chesnee for having us out. J.L. Mann, we participated in the Jamboree last year, and it was great. Our JVs played on the Wednesday, and then our varsity played, and it was a great measuring tool. I knew that Coach Real was going to do it right. I think it's safe to say that anything he does it the right way. So I was thankful that he called me last year when I got the job and just took care of one of those jamborees and scrimmages that you try to field every year. So this year when he extended the invite again, it was a no-brainer for us. Looking forward to playing Bowling Springs. I know they are a well-coached team. I know they are a physical team, and I know they play hard. And I think anytime you have those three qualities in a team, they're a good test and a good matchup. And so I'm excited about the opportunity, both on JV and varsity, to get to do that at the Jamboree. As far as we go here at J.L. Mann, we return a lot, kind of like Coach Boyd. We played a lot of sophomores and even a couple freshmen last year, not by choice, but we unfortunately got bit by the injury bug starting in the first game, and it just kind of steamrolled. Got a lot of thoughts on why that happened, and we've made some adjustments. So hopefully we're able to combat that with our off-season program. The kids have done a great job this year showing up this summer. The football class was new at J.L. Mann when I got there, or at least both semesters. So we're going on year 2 now with a full off-season program, and I'm very familiar with it because we had pretty much done a very similar version at my past stop. So we saw kids really grow in the weight room. We wear catapults twice a week during the summer at a minimum, and I'm very pleased at the speeds we are hitting. I do talk often to the kids about being able to do that consistently every play, but we will be much faster than we were last year. We are much stronger than we were last year. I saw for the first time at our FCA team camp this past weekend at USC Upstate, our kids compete with a true belief that they belonged. And I was very pleased, and I hope we can continue to compete that way, because I think ever since I got there, the belief has kind of been a theme. So we're working on that as well. But I'm excited about my team, the guys I have coming back, the seniors that played last year, the juniors that played last year, and the sophomores, which were freshmen. I had 2 freshmen start the playoff game against Spartanburg. So I'm excited about it. We are much better off in terms of experience, and I know that means something just from my time doing this. So I appreciate you guys for being here. This is so awesome, and I'll take any question that you may have.
Could you talk about some of your returners? Talk about what kind of offense and defense you might see from J.L. Mann this year. What kind of offense you guys are gonna run?
We'll be a spread-based offense. I don't get caught up in being balanced. I think that's a great thing to talk about, maybe even philosophy, but I've seen teams win a whole bunch of ball games running the football 90% of the time, and I've seen them throw it around and win it. So I don't know what we're going to look like. I know we'll be spread, and I hope we're able to go fast at some point. Our offensive line should be our strongest point, I believe. We returned a lot of those guys, and assuming that we can stay healthy, I really like our offensive line. I hope our quarterback's able to get the ball out quick. I hope we're able to get teams going side to side. I hope we're able to be efficient with our screen game, our run game, and I believe in taking shots, especially when you got guys that can run like we do. So offensively, I hope that's what we look like, and just be efficient, really. I just want us to be efficient. We weren't very efficient last year, and I think we got to play great team football. If there's a night where, we're struggling on D, then our offense has got to help us take care of the ball and, move the clock, and we just didn't do a good job of that last year. And then defensively, I always hope that we are very sound in what we do, that we play with great effort, and we don't give up the big play. I'm a firm believer in high school football that if you make them continue to snap the football, high school offenses will mess it up. And that was my philosophy for a long time at Gaffney as the defensive coordinator, and I think it worked out pretty well. The year we went undefeated, we were the definition of a bend but not break defense that year. We talk to our kids all the time about playing the next play, the next play, the next play. So hopefully we do that on defense and just fly around. You got to play like your head's on fire. So offensively, we got 2 quarterbacks right now battling it out, Gage Watkins and Wilkes Millard. In the backfield, we bring back Buddy Griffin, who was our starting tailback last year. Out wide, we bring back A.J. Bush, who was, a key component in a lot of areas last year for us. And then we got Tristan Shell, who's had maybe the best offseason of everybody. Up front, offensive line-wise, we're expecting Christian Sullivan, Parker Godfrey, Thomas Bull, Sion Jones, and Jensen Sullivan to kind of carry that weight for us. So I'm excited about that group. I really am. Defensively, I think our DL is probably our strongest suit, and we're going to be relying on them heavily for canceling gaps in the run game and getting pressure on the quarterback. At linebacker, we return a lot of experience, still young there, no seniors in that group, but a lot of experience. And then in the secondary is kind of our hodgepodge is what I'm calling them. We got a couple guys that were receivers last year, one guy that was a safety that's kind of playing down in the box for us a little more. So a lot of experience, just maybe not quite as much at their specific position. But I've seen them guys grow tremendously this offseason, and I'm excited.
How's it going, Coach? How much does an experienced offensive line, that being the strength of your team, help out in a spread offense, playing with speed?
Oh, I think it helps tremendously identifying protections, making sure you can run the football. Last year we struggled to run the football, and teams basically just loaded the box and forced us to throw it out wide and play man coverage. So I hope this year that our offensive line and the experience and the growth they've had in the weight room will play a vital role in that. And then I also believe getting the ball on the perimeter, especially with your screen game, you want to have linemen that can get out there and get on a body. So I'm excited about our OL. I'm excited about our whole team, and I always kind of wrap that statement up with, if we can stay healthy. We got to stay healthy, and that's probably the same for everybody up here. It's high school football. You got to stay healthy. None of us have the depth at every position. So I'm excited about our OL, and I think they're a vital piece to what we're trying to do. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Coach Smiley. Finally, we'll have the Bowling Springs has 2 games in the JV. Bowling Springs 9th grade will be playing the Chesnee JV, and Bowling Springs JV will be playing J.O. Mann JV. And in the varsity Jamboree on Friday, again, like I said, Bowling Springs will be taking on J.O. Mann. So we'll hear now from Bowling Springs Bulldogs head coach Matt Reel.
I'm getting older. I got to make notes now, so I got to make sure everything's good. Again, just want to say thank you to everybody that's here. Thank you to these guys. They make my job really easy. When I first got to Bowling Springs, we had a lot of facilities. We had a lot of pauses, but nobody was coming. We weren't using them. And I thought, man, we need to have a huge jamboree in our stadium every year, and let's get football moving and getting the mentality back to what it should be. And I think anybody that's done this for any amount of time wants to work with good people. And we host a 7-on-7, and we host it with the best people we possibly can. We hosted this jamboree, and we try to get the best people that we can possibly get to make the night run the right way, to compete. And like these guys have all said, that they play hard, their teams are disciplined. You're not dealing with a bunch of a bunch of other things going on in the stadium that night. It's just really good football, and it's a night that you get to enjoy. And these guys have done a great job of bringing their teams, competing, but then doing things the right way. And to me, that's what it's all about. First of all, I want to always say thank you to my coaching staff. I have one of the best staffs in the state of South Carolina. Coach Anderson, my DC, is here enjoying a free meal, so I knew he was going to show up for that. But, man, I've got guys on staff that live, breathe. They're just infiltrated with the game of football and building our young men up, investing in them, making it more than just a Friday night experience, but it's really a lifelong experience once you're in our football program. So I always want to say thank you to those guys for everything they do. Local media, guys, it's what we do doesn't get out. Our kids don't get promoted without you. I want to say thank you for everything you do. Those calls we get on Fridays, those calls we get on Thursdays, we may sound upset, but we're not. We're glad you're calling. We're glad we get to talk about our kids and promote our kids, okay? And then about our team this year, man, I'm really excited because every team brings something new. It's a new goal, a new challenge. Last year's team's not coming back. Those guys that were playmakers, most of them graduated. When you look at our roster, you'll say, Coach, you're starting a lot of seniors. That's probably true, but a lot of our guys haven't been the guy until this year. So I think we got 6 guys coming back on defense. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 guys coming back on offense, 4 of those being our offensive linemen. So talking about kind of what Coach Smiley was talking about, we feel like for the first time, our offensive line could be the really strong point of our football team. Really excited about them, and I think people don't realize how important O-line is, how important the D-line is. The game's won up front. It is what it is. You can talk about your great players, but if you can't get the football to them, it don't matter. Talk about your great running backs. If your line don't block, it don't matter. So for us, they're going to be the selling point for our success this whole year, offensively and defensively, and it's going to start up front. We do have some great skill guys on the back end on both sides, just like all these other schools do as well. But we got to make sure those guys up front get credit for what we expect from them, and they're going to lead the way for us. There's no doubt about that. A lot of guys that we're excited about. Quarterback's coming back for his second year with us. A ton of growth this offseason. Really, I think it just kind of settled into him, what our offense is around him, and then I think he's really trusting the guys that we have. Just speaking about a couple of those guys, Deion Suber, wide receiver for us. Deion 6'4", about 190. He's had a great offseason, probably one of the best off seasons of anybody in our program. We ran 110s a day. He was the first guy every single rep. So just really proud of him, his growth. DJ Leak, another kid, really explosive, was predominantly a defensive guy last year. Played, I believe 4 or 5 spots for us on defense last year. Moved him receiver. He's a kickoff return, punt return guy. So he's going to touch the ball a lot for us. We got a young guy named Jaden Jones I'm really excited about. He's kind of stepped into our S receiver slot. Probably could be a tight end, but he just has, for us, we need him in the slot right now. He's being a rising sophomore, one of the younger guys we're really going to depend on. He's had a great offseason, just physical, tough kid, the kind of kids you want to hang your hat on. And then, obviously, Kyron Tober is a returning running back for us. And then R.J. Bird, another running back for us, and Malik Wanamaker kind of run out our backfield. Defensively, I think we've had really good defensive units every year I've been here. I think the first year we didn't score a whole lot, and those games kind of got lopsided towards the fourth quarter. But Coach Graham has done a really great job while he was here, and Coach Anderson has came in and really just made it his own and forced his mentality on our guys and how he sees things and how he wants things done. And they've done a great job. Obviously, we returned some really good players, which always helps. I'm always a better coach when I have better players. That's just the way it goes. Dennis Glenn is one that everybody always asks about, talks about. He's committed to Rutgers. He is a all-state player, all-region player. He's an even better human being. He is just a phenomenal young man that's got it figured out. Champion Floyd played for us a lot last year on the D-line. He's coming back. Chris Anderson actually moved to us from Southside High School. Excited about him. Really big body, 6'2", about 275. D lineman, moves well. Excited to get him in there with our guys. And our linebacking crew is really our back seven we really like a lot. C.J. Burke has put on about 20 pounds, been really explosive this offseason. Will Guybeck, returner. Tamaje Brown is probably a guy that nobody talks about, but man, he is just he's just an old school throwback, in your face, downhill mentality football player. Does a great job for us. And then our two safeties, Tavion Hall and Jamarcus Means, have been doing it for 3 years. Both have offers. Both have done it at a high clip. And we feel really good about our two corners, Rosin Jr., Jeremiah Calhoun, and then Christian McMurray on the other side. Calhoun finished second in the 100 and 200 meters. Catapult, we've had him at 25 miles an hour, which is a crazy number. But we're starting to see the benefits of everything we've been doing in the offseason. Our strength staff is second to none. We've won back-to-back state championships in the 5A division, boys and girls. So Coach Blackwood and our strength staff do a phenomenal job as well. And we're doing what I said we were going to do when we got here. We're going to be physical. We're going to dominate the weight room, and we're going to play like our hair's on fire. And when you get really good players and you add in those three things, you got a chance to be successful. I'm telling you right now, it's not me. Our staff, our strength staff, our players, they're the ones that make all these things go. So that's Bowling Springs in a nutshell right now. Really excited for our schedule. We start next Thursday like everybody in the state. That following Thursday, we got Gray Collegiate coming to scrimmage us at our place. We go to Pickens on that next Monday. And then we'll see Coach Smiley and J.O. Mann that next Friday at Bowling Springs for the Jamboree. So really excited about our team, excited about where we're going. Right now, if anybody's got any questions, please let me know. I'll be glad to talk about our program.
How's it going, Coach Real?
What's up, buddy?
So, you're bringing back Emory Logan. What's the difference from last year in off-season camps going into this year? How much growth have you seen from Emory? And you have a lot of returners on defense. I'm sure you're excited about that, led by Dennis Glenn Jr. What's it like having so many seniors come back and wanting to have a great season coming into this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that was around our program last year, I don't think we finished the way we thought we should have finished last year. We lost a couple regular season games we felt like we shouldn't have lost, and then won in the playoffs, then lost the Dutch Fork. So those guys have their own mindset and their own goals about what they want to come in and address and achieve. And I think it's important that those seniors, realize this. They're making their statement for what people are going to remember them by. As far as Emory, I just think, being able to know he's the guy. There was a quarterback. We had a battle last year with Josh Call for a part of the season. I think he took that over and really has kind of ran with it since then. But I think, one, just understanding and getting through all the progressions of our passing game, understanding the ins and outs of the run game up front, what he can control, what our true reads are, what we're RPOing, what we're not. All those things that that you just can't miss plays with the people we play. And I think he's really comfortable right now with, one, the guys he's been with for the last year and a half, and then two, just our coordinator. Him and Coach Turk have a great relationship. They've really grown with each other, and I think he just has a confidence about him right now that he always had, but wasn't necessarily sure about the concepts and then our offense and what he was coming from. So just having that year and a half to have that under his belt and then it be his team now, I think it's been huge for him and his growth and kind of our growth as an offense as well.
Hey, Coach, I just want to point out you're the senior coach out of this bunch right now, going into your 5th year. It's been a long road, but 5 good years of hard work at Bowling Springs. I just want to say appreciate it. You and I have had some good talks on the sideline. I appreciate you always giving me the time to answer questions and inform the audience. Going on to Chesnee to hopefully me and Coach Chappell work up the same relationship as you and I. I just want to say I appreciate the last several years, you and I in the media and just talking and having a good time, getting to know each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ken always gets me after halftime, so it's 50-50 on what he's going to get whenever he comes over there. And a lot of times he's just sitting there with his head down knowing probably what it's going to be. But no, I'm 42 now. I used to be the younger guy on staff, and now I got I got some young cats on my staff. I got great guys, but I've got 2 guys that are actually finishing college right now, former college players that are finishing up their education. I've got, both my coordinators were college guys to start with at multiple institutions. One is a head coach, Taylor, doing a lot of different things at some high-level schools at, Chapel Hill, and then Gardner Webb, some different places. I mean, I've got guys from a long range of age groups, and it's a little bit different being almost a senior. Now I got Coach Browning that I can count on to still be the old man, I guess you could say, but it just, you see how much it's changed. And 2, for me, I wish I would have learned at an earlier age some of the things I understand now. Some of the guys I had in Horry County, the Mark Morrises, who's at Carolina Forest, Jody Jenneret, who's at Conway, are a lot like Coach Farmer. They've seen everything, and they're willing to give you that knowledge. And I think that's what I'm trying to do now with the guys I have on staff is I don't have all the answers, but I think the ones I do have about, being a great dad, being a great father, being a great husband, all the things I didn't really do a great job of when I was first a head coach. As you get older, those things start really sinking in. And, seeing Coach with his son here today, he texted me and was like, Coach, is it all right? Man, absolutely. Like, this is what it is, And, I wish I would have learned some of those lessons early on to where I would have done things a little bit better, from a personal standpoint. But we all got to go through different things. I appreciate you, what you do. I know Coach is going to enjoy having you over there. You'll do a great job for him. Anybody else got any questions about Bowling Springs before we move on to this next part? Good. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's all of our coaches' interviews. We'll take any questions real quick if you had any for all of the head coaches. I know you had a question about the transfer thing. If you want all these coaches, they all have a mic. They can share time. So we'll set this down. You can get all coaches, and maybe they can comment on your questions all at one time, and then we'll wrap everything up. So if anybody's got any questions for the entire panel, come on up and ask those questions.
Yeah, I mean, they asked earlier about, transfer and NIL and all that kind of stuff. And I think, Coach Boyd kind of hit it on the head. It is what it is. Like, I used to say a long time ago, and I meant this as in how you treat your kids, the program you run, what you try to get. You got to recruit your kids every day. And I meant that as in how you run your program. You got to treat them right, take care of them, create opportunities for them. I think that's the reality of things now, even more so than ever, because a lot of people are looking at the next greatest thing. I think for us, the one thing our coaching staff does a great job of is they love our kids, and they build into those kids. They create relationships with them, and I think when you do that, unless there's a crazy circumstance that comes up or a hardship that comes up that the kids don't really have control over with, your kids stay where they're at. And I think that's the key to the whole thing is creating opportunities for your kids, promoting your kids, getting them on campuses, holding them accountable. All the things you would do when you love somebody. And I think that's what we try to do at Bowling Springs. And I think that's how you got to deal with it. The NIL stuff is not here yet, so I'm not worried about it. Once it does, then obviously it'll be something we have to address. But, transfer, if our kids don't want to be there, we're not going to beg them to be there. If kids do want to be in our program, we do it the right way. We make sure they're enrolled. We make sure that, academically everything's done. And I think that's how all these guys here have been doing things as well. So that's kind of my opinion on it, and you guys can fill in the rest.
First of all, I wish I was 42 years old. No, I agree with Coach Real and Coach Boyd. I think they said it best. I mean, after this will be my 35th football season, and high school football is changing, and high school sports is changing. I can't say that I like it. I don't like it at all. I played at Bowling Springs High School, and we tell our kids all the time, like myself, my high school days, and played a couple years at Newberry College, my high school days I'll never forget. The guys I played high school football with I'm friends with. I'm not necessarily friends with who I played college football with. And we wasn't overly successful when we were in high school. I see Coach Cole back there. One of my favorite coaches is his daddy that coached us when I was in high school. But Coach Morris does a great job of setting our program and our culture and how he wants it to fit or how he wants it to be. And I think it is about relationships. And I think you gotta set how your program wants to be. And if the kids want to be part of that, then great. If they think grass is greener on the other side, then they obviously have the opportunity to do that. But the one thing I love about Coach Morris is he loves Dorman High School. He played at Dorman, but he loves kids. And loving kids is very important to me. Relationships are very important to me. We do something with our offense on Fridays that's really special, that we allow 2 kids and a coach to come up and speak to the team, and it has to be non-football related. And there was some really good conversations in that room. And building better men is what my job is here to do. If we all want to win championships, don't get me wrong, I want to win one this year. But those phone calls I get from a kid that played for me at Woodmont 12, 15 years ago, or at Spartanburg 25 years ago, just to let me know, like Coach Real said, hey, Coach, I just had a child. I got married. Those are the things that make my heart fond of being a coach. Not a head coach anymore, but being a coach and what I love to do.
I'll go along with these guys and kind of echo a few sentiments just sitting here thinking about, what you were talking about with the transfers and things like that. I think one of the things that really stands out to me when you hear these coaches talk is you kind of get a sense of family. These guys, these coaches have come from programs where they've been players. They were coached the right way. They were brought through, went on and graduated. They've been assistants at good programs as well. That's the one thing that I kind of look at from our standpoint at Chesnee High School. We've tried to make it a family atmosphere. We've tried to make it a sense of where those kids are taken care of and given every opportunity that they can to be successful. And I always try to use myself as an example. I've been at Chesnee. This is going on year 3. When I got here, I transferred my son here. And my son was coming in as a freshman. And my son doesn't play football, but he wrestles. And I went and met with Coach Rentz, and Coach Rentz has had a very successful program at Chesnee. He's won 2 state championships as a team and had numerous individual state championships. And I asked Coach Rentz 2 questions. Will my son be taken care of, and will he be given an opportunity? And if those 2 things can happen, then the rest is on him. The rest is on that player. The rest is on that kid. And, my son was able to be successful for them as a freshman, went 45-2 and won a state championship as a freshman. But those are the things that I'm looking for. Those are the type of programs that I'm looking for. Those are the things that brought me to Chesnee High School. And we want to continue to build on those things. Again, make it a family atmosphere. You're teaching kids, just like what Coach Farmer said. You're parenting those kids as well. You're going to spend more time with those boys than their parents do a lot of times. And people seem to think that the players are changing. I think the parents are changing. I think we're living in the world of social media. We want things to happen now. It's unfortunate that we've got social media platforms, that are sitting here and they are promoting transfers, and you're seeing all of these blow-ups on social media about kids going from this school to that school. At some point, kids are going to have to be rooted in where they're at, or they're going to look for the easy way out the rest of their life. So what are we teaching them? Those are the things that we look at. Like I said, I hear these coaches talk about this up here at the table. I love seeing, Coach Millis and his son here. I used to do the same thing with my son. I used to try to bring him with me as much as I could to any events like this. But, I'm excited about being here. I think Coach Real mentioned it too. You're having to recruit your program all the time, and you are. But the thing I think I can speak for all of us up here, man, we want it to be a place that these kids want to be at, want to be a part of. They know they're taken care of, but they're going to be challenged. That's part of it too. Life's not easy. And putting them out in the real world and trying to teach them that it is, and you can go to greener grasses when things ain't the way you want it to be, I don't think those are the right lessons that's being taught. And I think parents will realize that at some point. I hope they do. And, I hope we get the opportunity to keep the kids that we've got and, excited about our team, just like these other guys up here. But, those are my sentiments on it. Didn't mean to get on a soapbox, but, it's just one of those things. You are dealing with it. Coach mentioned it earlier. It is what it is. It's not changing. It's not going away. There's going to be more things down the road. As soon as that NIL hits, we're going to start dealing with that as well. Just obstacles, that we're here. I can tell you these guys, we all wear a fireman's hat because we're putting out fires every day. That's just part of the job as the coaches, trying to work through problems and scenarios and things like that. But, again, love the way that we're doing this. Gives the opportunity for our coaches to talk, especially about areas, Spartanburg County and Greenville and all of this around here. Man, got great football. Excited for us to be a part of it.
Like all these coaches said, the transfer portal is a real thing. Our kids are trying to transfer all the time, and we got to make the kids want to stay at Southside. We got to love the kids. I did the math for one of my seniors last year, and we had 36 kids that should have been on our roster that had transferred and went to different schools for different reasons. These parents and these kids need to understand that if they just stay where their feet are planted, they got the chance to bloom and do something really special over there. So as a coaching staff, we have to do our job on loving the kids and giving them a reason to be at Southside. And that's what all these coaches are doing. They're recruiting every single day. They're recruiting to keep their kids. We're recruiting the hallways to find more football players because the thing about it is football don't need these kids. These kids need football. And football has done a lot in my life and does a lot for every man up here's life. So we got to give them a reason to be out there. When I go with my coach's manual with my guys, the number one rule for our coaches is to love the players. They got to learn the kids, know their names, know what they like, and love the players off the field. Because if they do that, then these kids will want to do stuff for us and play for us and be a part of something special. And I really do believe we're building something special over there in Southside. We just got to keep our guys there, keep our parents engaged with our program, and we'll be able to do great things with these young men.
I guess I already hit on mine in my question, but to piggyback off you, I think the biggest thing is taking pride in your program and your school. I know growing up, we took pride in the school that we were at. We wanted to change that school and beat whoever else was in our way. I think now you're having to make sure you're taking pride in your school and promoting your school in a way that other coaches and schools aren't approaching your kids as well. My staff already knows that we are not to openly go after anybody else, and if I find out about it, there's going to be big issues because I can sleep with losing games. I cannot sleep with doing things the wrong way, and that's never going to happen in our program, and I think that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, I agree with all these guys. It's not a fun topic to talk about because, we're all going to be in both positions at some point where a kid is reaching out or, whatever. And I agree with Coach Boyd. Like, my staff knows we're not going after anybody. I've lost more in a year and a half than ever thought you could. And, the first year a lot of them, went, one place and that's fine. Fortunate to say we haven't lost but one since. And, it's such a subject that could really span a whole lot of different avenues. But, I'm friends with a guy that I played baseball with because he transferred to Dorman before our senior year. And then we kicked that deal in the upstate championship. Or it was the second round, excuse me. But, I still don't talk to him because we were friends, and it felt like betrayal. And I just don't know that there's that sense of loyalty anymore to your place. And that's the world we live in. And I think every coach has kind of said that, this is the world we live in. We don't live in the NIL world at high school, so I'm thankful we don't have to cross that bridge today, but it is coming. And that'll be something we deal with. But, the transfer thing, all these guys said it, and they're all smart men. It's about relationships. It's about caring about the guys you have and finding guys that are all in. And if they're wanting to transfer, they're not all in, you probably don't want them anyway, even though they may be very talented. So I told my guys, I want guys that are getting the foxhole with me, that got my back, I got their back. And as long as I get their best effort and their best attitude every day, I'll take whatever we get. So that's my take on it, and appreciate it.
All right, that'll conclude the press conference. Again, we thank Scott McFalls and all the staff here at Wings Etc. For hosting this event. If you haven't ordered your food, and these coaches obviously hadn't, go ahead and order your food. That is on the house. Thanks all for the coordinators and the other media that are here today. These coaches will be available if you want like individual interviews with them. I'm sure just grab them. They'd be more than happy to do an interview with you. So I appreciate y'all coming out. Again, the D2 Jamboree is Wednesday, August the 12th for the JV at Chesnee High School, and Friday, August the 14th for the varsity at Bowling Springs High School. We hope to see you all there. Thank you.